There's a trap design that public health researchers have been using since the 1960s to monitor and control mosquito populations in tropical countries where mosquitoes kill hundreds of thousands of people every year. It was first described in scientific literature in 1966. It requires no electricity, no chemicals, no batteries, no maintenance beyond dumping it out once a week, and you can build one in about 5 minutes with materials that cost roughly $3. And when deployed across a neighborhood, studies have shown it can reduce local mosquito populations dramatically. It's called an autocidal gravid ovitrap, and it works by using the mosquito's own biology against her. Let me explain why this is different from every other trap you've seen online, because most of them fundamentally misunderstand how mosquitoes operate. The bottle trap with yeast and sugar that you see all over the internet, it produces a small amount of CO2 to attract mosquitoes. Sounds smart, but in practice, it produces far less CO2 than a single person exhaling on a patio. So mosquitoes fly towards you, not the bottle. Bug zappers? Research from the University of Delaware found less than 1% of what they kill are mosquitoes. Citronella candles? Effective within about 3 feet of the flame. 3 feet. Everything else is theater. The ovitrap doesn't try to attract mosquitoes with light or CO2 or scent. It targets the one thing every female mosquito must do to reproduce: find standing water to lay her eggs. And that instinct is so powerful that she will visit an average of 12 or more sites per egg-laying cycle, according to research published on lethal ovitrap deployment. She's not casually browsing for any old puddle. She's driven by biology to find dark, stagnant, sheltered water near human activity. And that's exactly what this trap pretends to be. Here's how to build it. You need a black plastic container, a 32-ounce deli container, a large yogurt tub, or a black plastic cup all work. If your container isn't black, wrap it in black tape or a dark sock. Mosquitoes are attracted to dark containers because they signal shaded, protected water, the ideal breeding site. A piece of fine mesh screen or window screen, cut to fit inside the container about an inch below the rim, and water. That's the whole materials list. If you're buying everything new, you're looking at about $3. Most people have all of this already. Step 1. If your container is light colored, cover the outside with black electrical tape or pull a dark sock over it. Glue, or tape the toe of the sock to the inside bottom, then stretch the rest over the outside. Step 2. Fill the container about 2/3 full with water. For best results, let a handful of grass clippings or a few leaves soak in the water for 24 hours first. This creates an organic infusion that mimics the stagnant, nutrient-rich water that mosquitoes prefer over clean water. Research has consistently shown that mosquitoes choose water with decomposing organic matter over clean water by a significant margin. Step 3. Cut your mesh screen to fit snugly inside the container, sitting about an inch below the rim. The mesh openings need to be small enough that an adult mosquito can't fit through, and standard window screen works perfectly. This is the kill mechanism. The pregnant female lands on the rim, crawls down to the water, and lays her eggs on or near the surface. The eggs fall through the mesh into the water below. The larvae hatch, feed, and grow. But when they develop into adults and try to fly out, the mesh traps them underneath. They can't escape. They die in the container they were born in. And the mother who laid those eggs? She's already moved on to do the same thing at her next stop. Except if you've placed enough traps, her next stop is another ovitrap. Step 4. Place the trap in a shaded area near your home. Under a bush, next to the porch, along the fence line, near a downspout. Anywhere that's shaded and protected from direct rain. You want the trap to stay stable and the water level to remain consistent. Deploy multiple traps, at least 3 to 5 around an average yard. The more traps you set, the higher the chance that a female mosquito lays in your trap instead of in your gutter or flower pot saucer. Step 5. Check the traps weekly. Dump the water through the mesh to flush out any dead adults and larvae. Refill with fresh organic water. That's your only maintenance. 1 minute per trap, once a week. But before we keep going, I need to tell you something real quick. My son bet me I'd never hit 1,000 subscribers. He says I'm too old for YouTube and that nobody wants to watch a guy my age talk about bugs. So if this video is helping you out, hit that subscribe button and help me shut him up at the dinner table. The kid's 22 and thinks he knows everything. Let me have this one. All right, let's get back to it. Now here's why this design is so effective compared to what the pest control industry sells you. A professional mosquito spray costs $350 to $1,000 per season. The technician applies a pyrethroid that kills adults on contact. The chemical degrades in sunlight within 2 to 3 weeks, and the mosquitoes return. The spray never touches the larvae, breeding in your gutters, your flower pot saucers, or your neighbor's yard. You're paying to kill the adults while the factory keeps producing new ones every 7 to 10 days. The ovitrap does the opposite. It doesn't kill the adults flying around right now. It intercepts the reproductive cycle. Every female that lays eggs in your trap, instead of in a natural water source, is producing offspring that will never become biting adults. Over weeks and months, the population collapses because the breeding output drops. You're not fighting the army. You're shutting down the recruitment center. The research backs this up. Lethal ovitraps have been deployed in public health programs in Brazil, Singapore, Australia, and the Caribbean, and they have become one of the primary tools for controlling Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus, the species that carry dengue, Zika, and chikungunya. These are the same container breeding species that infest most American backyards. The same biology that makes them dangerous in the tropics makes them vulnerable to a $3 trap in your yard. For best results, combine the ovitraps with 2 other steps. First, eliminate every other source of standing water on your property. Walk your yard weekly and dump anything that holds water, such as saucers, buckets, tarps, toys, clogged gutters. The fewer competing breeding sites, the more likely females lay in your traps. Second, for any standing water you cannot eliminate, like bird baths or rain barrels, drop in a mosquito dunk. They contain BTI, a naturally occurring bacterium that kills larvae within 24 hours. Safe for people, pets, fish, and birds. A 6-pack costs about $10 and lasts the season. Total cost for a full yard mosquito control system, about $13. 5 ovitraps at roughly $3 each. 1 pack of BTI dunks at $10. 0 electricity. 0 chemicals. 0 monthly contracts. If you build these traps, check them after the first week and look inside. You are going to see larvae, pupae, and trapped adults sitting in the water. That is the mosquito population that would have been biting you, your kids, and your family every single evening. Now it is stuck in a black cup sitting under your hedge, going absolutely nowhere. If you build one of these traps, drop a comment and tell me how many you found trapped after the first week. I read every single one. Take care of that yard, and I'll see you in the next one.